Hi, and welcome to Sunday with Mike, show number 92. On today's show, we'll cover grand entrances, critique etiquette, Facebook music update, and is it time to give yourself a raise? Grab some coffee and join me. I'll be right back. Hi, and welcome back. One of the subjects that comes up often in my world is how do I handle grand entrances at wedding receptions? So before we dive in, I want to pull back and take a really broad look at this topic. Would it surprise you to learn that I'm not a huge fan of doing grand entrances? Don't get me wrong, my clients never have to ask me twice to do one of these, and it's totally up to them. But there are plenty of legitimate reasons for doing them and also for skipping them. First, let's ask ourselves, why do we want to do them? If it's an extremely formal event, it adds a nice touch, and if handled properly, it can add a lot of respect for the DJ by saying all of the names correctly and doing this extremely well. Each couple or person would get their own moment of glory as they strut into the room. So far, that sounds great, right? So why would you want to skip it? Well, since most of the time in my experience, the wedding party and the parents have already come into the room before the bride and groom get there, and now they have to be rounded up and sent back outside once the newlyweds arrive. Then we need to line everybody up to make sure that they match the order that we were given prior to the wedding, and frequently there are last-minute changes. This is your last chance as the DJ to ask anybody about any questionable names. Everyone is now waiting on you, so the pressure's cranked up a little bit because they're outside in a hallway or outside of the air conditioning, and they're all waiting on you to get this thing going. So you run back and you start the introductions. Somebody needs to control the couples as their names are called and they enter to tell them when to go. All of the time that it took to do this is time that is taken away from the dance floor, which is why I'm not a huge fan of these big formal introductions. If you're going to do a grand introductions at a wedding, you want to do it right. Use first and last names. Don't cheat and just use first because that's not formal. If it's formal, then let's be formal all the way through. Get the list of names. Learn them well in advance. Be as prepared as you can be. Also, make sure that if anybody's a doctor or a lawyer, that you include their title. Use the help of the best man and the maid or matron of honor to help you get everyone lined up. Speak clearly and don't rush the process. Give each person or pair their moment in the spotlight. But another challenge is to use different songs for each pair as they're introduced. For this type of introduction, I highly recommend pre-editing the music so that you have less to worry about as you play back each piece of music to go along with that introduction of that couple. If you really want to excel in grand entrances, I highly recommend taking Peter Murray's workshop on this topic. He uses his comic skills, music editing skills, and voice techniques to create a one-of-a-kind introduction that I've never heard any other DJ do. So he also sells a video called Make It Grand, Personalizing Grand Entrances, and I'll share the link to Peter's workshops down below in the description column for you.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
So today I wanted to discuss critique etiquette, and it's a subject that can be a little bit touchy for everybody involved. If someone gives you some unsolicited advice or constructive criticism, you can either try to learn from it, discard it, or you can get angry. But what's important to know is what was the intent of the person giving the advice? Is it someone who is only trying to help you, or is it a petty attempt to knock you down? Generally speaking, most people do not want advice unless they ask for it. On the other hand, if someone does ask you for your opinion, they should expect an honest reply and take the accolades and the punches equally. If all you want is a pat on the back, then you're never going to grow and you don't want to hear the truth. Recently, I had someone send me a video that they wanted my opinion on. We're going to call him Adam. So Adam tells me, "Hey Mike, I trust your opinion and I want your feedback on my new video. Like most of you, my free time is very limited, but as you also know, I have this habit of trying to help people from all over the globe. So I take some time out of my schedule and I check out Adam's video of a wedding, and I'm shaking my head going, I don't ever see this working very well in my market. But you do have to remember, I'm a Cajun from Louisiana. I've never DJ'd in the land of Oz before." So I asked my wife to review it without sharing any of my thoughts because I wanted to get her honest opinion, and she didn't like it either. When I asked her why, her reasons were very different than mine. Personally, I thought that this would be great feedback for Adam because now he could combine our feedback with others and see what the overall thoughts were. Well, the next thing I know, Adam has sent my feedback to the videographer who created the piece and now has his whole world turned upside down. Now, this photographer proceeds to tell Adam that he thinks he knows more about the DJ business than I do. Now, I want you to imagine that for a moment while you think back in your mind that this is show number 92 with over 340 topics covered and 18 years worth of me being a full-time DJ. Somehow, this videographer knows more and he decides to blast my feedback, and then Adam has the nerve to send it to me and ask me for my thoughts. Are you nuts? I wasted my valuable time to give you genuine feedback, and now you would like to drag me into an email fight with an unknown videographer who thinks that I'm wrong. Here's a news flash. It's an opinion. There isn't a right or wrong. So the moral of this story is, if you ask someone for their thoughts, be gracious and appreciative of their time and efforts to help you, and simply say thank you. Do not try to drag them into a fight because you didn't like the answer. Tacky, tacky. I'll be right back. We've discussed Facebook and music posts quite a bit in our past shows, because DJs are always wanting to play music on Facebook during their events, and it became a problem because the videos were being muted. Then along the way, we read that Facebook decided to start paying for royalties so that music could live and be happy, and we could all go back to playing music again during our events. About a month ago, I did a wedding that was just super fun and over the top. They were a fun-loving group, and everybody's energy was feeding off of each other, and I can honestly say that it was probably one of the best wedding receptions I've ever been a part of. It was really fun. I ended the night with Journey's Don't Stop Believing, and the dance floor was packed. Everyone was singing the lyrics at the top of their lungs, and I grabbed my phone and I did a quick 15-second video for safekeeping. About a week later, I decided I wanted to share it on Facebook to see what would happen. Would they mute the video or not? There's no talking. It's just everybody singing, and the song is very prominent in this video. So Would Facebook take it down or not? To my surprise, they didn't take it down. The video did really well. Everybody was watching it, and much more than most stuff that I post. And then you're not going to believe what happened next. If you said Facebook muted it, you're wrong. They wanted me to boost the post where I pay them to expose this and advertise to even more people. So I couldn't believe this. I know how many times we've talked about music in this, so it had to be a mistake, right? Nope, not at all. They took my $12 and shared it with 1,200 females between the ages of 22 and 32 who were engaged. Will I get any business from this boosted post? I doubt it, but I just couldn't believe that they would let a post of a video with no talking, with copyrighted music just blaring away, and people singing at the top of their lungs get by them. So what's the deal? Well, I'm not really sure, but I can tell you this. The next time you have a really good video clip and you want to let it fly on Facebook or Instagram, put it out there and see what happens. You never know. They may want to boost your post also. For me, the $12 was worth the experiment just to be able to share the results with you. As they say, practice and enjoy. Many times when I have attended DJ conventions in Las Vegas, I have heard Peter Murray, like Merry Christmas, speak on a national stage. I've learned a lot from his presentations over the years and also from his book called, quote, The Best Wedding Reception Ever, end quote, along with his DVDs. One day, Peter was speaking on stage and he was telling us a story about how he was able to get his rates above $3,000 per event, and that one of the indicators that he used was if he was getting regular tips, then that should be your indicator that you're not charging enough. And so I thought about that for a while on the way home, and I realized that I was getting a $100 tip on a regular basis. So I decided to follow Peter's advice, and sure enough, nobody really questioned my new rate. My tips did drop off for quite a while, but eventually they did start coming back in again. And once they got on a regular basis, then guess what? I raised my prices yet again. I've always been grateful to Peter for sharing that tip with us on stage that day, because it has helped me to raise my prices and, more importantly, to know when is the right time to raise them. For me, it's always been a painful decision whenever you're considering a rate increase. You're asking yourself, is it the right time? How much of a raise do I give myself? Will that increase turn people away? It can be a really tough and painful decision, and his guidance on this has always worked really well for me, and I hope it does for you too. So that's going to be our show for today. I hope that you'll share it with some of your friends. Give me your thoughts down in the comments section down below, and be sure to give us a thumbs up. We're still saving a seat for you in the Sunday with Mike Facebook group, and I hope you'll join me there and here next week.